What's up guys? Today we're talking about how I shot an entire wedding on the R5 in 4K 60. Yeah, you heard it this time, 4K, not 1080, because I got myself some of them wonderful CF Express cards. Wonderfully expensive. Anyway, let's get into it. Hello everyone, my name is James. This is the Engineering Filmmaker, where we talk about photo, video, travel, and tech. If you're interested in these topics, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and like this video. Also, we have a forum, check the description, where you can join the forum, ask questions, answer questions, and grow as a community. So let's get to it. So let's start with what I shot in. I did not shoot in IPV, I shot in All-I, the highest bitrate option available for 4K 60. Basically, as I was shooting a wedding, it was no different than any other wedding. You record your shot, get your shot, hit record to stop your shot. There's maybe a few seconds in between each shot, and then you get your next shot. Occasionally, there'll be a 5 to 10 minute time frame where you don't have to get any shots or do anything, so it would have a little bit of time to, let's say, cool down or just chill. No pun intended. There may have been times where I had to drive to other locations, maybe 10 to 15 minutes or more, but that's pretty normal for a wedding day. I had to drive to 2 different places. There was a few times where the camera did have a chance to cool down. I did not turn it off at all during these times. I left it on, didn't even think about it, just put it in my car and we went. It was a very weird day. It was extremely rainy in the morning up until about 4 p.m. right before the ceremony. It was between 65 and 70 degrees in the morning, and then throughout the day it got up to about 75 to 78 degrees with full sunlight. So that may have helped in the morning. I'll let you guys decide. But from what I've noticed, seen, and heard about the EOS R5, whether it be other people's tests, etc., I have seen that the external temperatures outside or ambient temperatures don't really matter much. And from a thermodynamic standpoint, I don't see how it would affect the camera too much, considering when my camera gets hot or gives me an overheating warning, which it did, we'll get to that. It doesn't actually feel hot, the camera, at all. So maybe if you're in full sunlight and it heats up the body, it might affect your camera a little bit, but I'm pretty sure there are a few YouTubers out there who are testing this. But basically, when the camera does get hot or gives me an overheating warning, the SD card or CF Express card, both were not hot to the touch. The battery was not hot to the touch. Everything seemed fine. Even the camera, wherever I touched it, I felt it all over and it seemed fine. It was pretty normal to what it is now, honestly. So let's get into the goodies. The camera did give me overheating warnings. However, the very first time it gave me a warning was 6 hours into the day. That's a pretty long time into the day. You know, this is a few hours after the full sunlight. You know, it was hot outside and it gave me a warning. Luckily, this was during the family shots for photographers, so I already got the shots I needed. I didn't need anything else. So I turned the camera off immediately, keyword immediately, after getting the overheating warning symbol, which means if I continue recording, it will overheat and turn off. I stopped recording, turned it off, and I let it sit. There was nothing special leading up to this overheating. I wasn't continuously recording in 4K. I mean, it was just normal. I was getting a few shots here and there of, you know, the family shots and some other things, and that was kind of it. I wasn't like recording 10 minutes straight. It was no clips here and there. But I let my camera sit for about 5 minutes as I backed up the data, and it was fine after that. I turned it back on, started shooting 4K 60 again, and it was fine. Then we got into things like the speeches, toasts, and some other things before dinner, and it was fine. It didn't give me any overheating warnings, even though 5 minutes, you know, only 5 minutes of downtime, and it was back up and running just fine with no overheating issues. And then dinner came along, and this was probably 30 to 45 minutes later. I wanna say it was around 20 minutes, 25 minutes of downtime for dinner, and then we immediately got to start shooting because time was running out. So the camera did have a little bit of time to sit and chill. And then we went out for couple shoots. We took just the bride and the groom, went out on the property and got some cool B-roll shots of just them together. We did this for about 30 minutes, and then I made a mistake. I hit record, thought I hit record again to stop the clip, but I did not. And then the bride and groom and I started talking about a few things about the schedule and other things. And I went to go start recording a clip of them again, realized that it had been recording for about 5 minutes and I think 48 seconds in 4K 60 after just shooting a bunch of B-roll. And it gave me an overheating warning. I blame this on myself because I recorded an entire 5, almost 6-minute clip in 4K 60 on accident, and then I was attempting to shoot in 4K 60 again, and it gave me the warning. I take this warning very seriously. If you continue recording in this, after the warning comes up, it will probably overheat on you, and then you're gonna have to complain about the recovery time, which you won't ever have to worry about if you stop shooting after it gives you that warning. Seems pretty reasonable, right? Anyway, for the next, I think I only needed 5 more shots or so. I put it in 1080/60 because who cares? If 4 of my shots or 5 of my shots or less in my video have to be in 1080 upscaled to 4K, if you edit in 4K, I edit in 1080 still, then so be it. I don't think it'll look terrible. I upscale my 1080 videos to 4K for YouTube and it looks just fine. I can even zoom in to about 110% and it still looks fine. And then last but not least, it did give me an overheating warning one more time about an hour later after I was getting some more B-roll stuff before the end of the night. I only needed a couple more shots before I was done for the night, so I got those in 4K 60 and I called it a night, called it a day, whatever, and it was fine. The camera officially never overheated in 4K 60. I was able to shoot an entire 6 hours, like a lot of footage before it gave me even a warning that it was gonna overheat. So be that as you may, take that information as you want. You can blame it on the weather, that it was only 65 to 70 degrees in the morning. You can blame it on whatever you want and justify it however you want, but the camera worked for me, and I will continue shooting other weddings in 4K 60 just for you guys, even though I don't need 4K, just to show you that this camera does work and will do you fine if you follow basic guidelines from Canon, i.e. don't shoot 5-minute clips at a time in 4K 60 or 120. Side note, I did not shoot any clips in 4K 120. Long story short, the camera did give me overheating warnings. I expected this. However, it did work for me for a very long time. It did not prevent me from doing my job at all, considering there's like 60,000 other frame rates and resolutions you can shoot in on this camera that do not overheat. Keep that in mind. I was able to do my entire wedding in 4K 60 other than 5 clips, which I still could have done in 4K 60 and it probably wouldn't have overheated. However, I don't want to take any chances of it overheating because one, I don't imagine it actually overheating being very good for it. If you do that enough long term, I'm assuming that would be very bad for the processor, just as if it were your computer. You don't want to overheat your computer or your engine in your car or literally anything. You want to stop before it overheats so that you can prevent any damage. It was a super awesome day. The venue was sweet. We got some awesome clips. It was all 4K 60 except for the 5 clips. I know you guys in the comments are gonna freak out. Oh, but you shot 5 clips in 1080. I could have in 4K 60. This is my personal camera. I'm not sponsored or anything, so I don't get free gear from places. So myself having to spend a lot of money on this camera, I would like it to last as long as possible. So let me ask you this, after seeing this information, this is only one test, keep that in mind, but would you use the R5 at a wedding in 4K 60, or are you still a hater on this camera? Let me know in the comments down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, some real world example footage and information about this camera that I have not really been seeing. If there's any types of experiments or videos you want me to make about the R5, please let me know in the comments down below, and I will definitely try to get to those because I would love to, help you guys understand this camera a little bit better. So that's it for today, guys. Let's help, let's teach, and let's grow. And I'll see you on the next one.